Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Golf Lovers United podcast. I am Golf Love UK and I am joined by Red Harrington. Our usual partner in crime is off sunning himself on the Monterey Peninsula, rubbing shoulders with Alan Shipnook and doing whatever Jay does on his time off. Red, how are you? Would you wish you were on the Monterey Peninsula or are you happy where you are?
I'm good. No, I'm happy where I am. I've had a decent holiday break of traveling, so I'm happy to be home and um, enjoying the couch a little bit, watching some golf. New Year, starting off in Hawaii as we've done several years in the past, and just kind of enjoying it as it unfolds here. I know we're just starting as it's kind of just coming on TV here in America. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it.
I have a bit. Red's rant later. We'll have a chat about that because I know you've got something you want to say about the scoring and course setup. No, I am, as you know, regularly listening, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So it's just been enjoyable watching the last 5 minutes of our season as we've just lost 23-19 to the Commanders. I've called them the Redskins for 35 years. Like changing Commanders is tough.
Yeah.
And looking at some of these NFL results, like it's just been such a weird season. So that's been my late evening. Obviously, We're just about to get the other games are going to kick off in a moment. But
yeah,
let's start.
Is it nice there or dreary
here
compared to Monterey? Yeah.
Oh no, mate! It's dreadful. It's like 3 degrees and grey and raining. Yeah, it's basically Seattle.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Monterey. Probably only Hawaii is doing that right now. So
yeah, and I don't think people truly realize quite how far Hawaii is from the USA. It's not an hour-long flight. It is a long way.
Yeah, it's way out there.
Right. I want to start with, I've received some criticism over the last 2 weeks from people I get on with on Twitter because I've been quite supportive of being open-minded towards TGL. Am I wrong for being open-minded towards that? Because I like sim golf. I prefer real golf. I prefer watching real golf. I prefer playing real golf. But I also enjoy playing on a sim because, as I said, the weather in the UK from much of November through to much of February, unless I'm playing in an event or it's the odd really nice day, I probably play 6 to 7 rounds between mid-November to mid-February outside, and I'll probably go on a sim maybe 8 to 10 times. And I like sim golf. Am I wrong for being open-minded?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that's a lot of golfers around the world in golf-rich communities suffer through winter too, and a lot of people have adapted and learned to really take on sim golf and love it. And I think that's just that this is the natural progression of that. And I think we're going to see it do okay. I mean, I am trying to be optimistic about it. I actually got my Ball Frog gear on today. It's not really Ball Frog gear, but I got my green with my Duke's hat. That's from over in Ireland, so kind of representing Rory a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to be supportive as I can of it. I think it deserves a fair shake and could be something that could end up being good for the game. So I don't think you're wrong at all for that.
And people say this line, "Oh, it's not real golf." Now, I'm going to argue that real golf is whatever golf is to the person watching it, right? If you like golf, you like golf. If you like watching sim golf, you like what I like watching golf, and I'm really interested to see how they hit into the big screen, how they'll walk through, how the green rotates, replicating bunker play. I want to see all of that, Red, and I want it to work. I'm excited to see it work.
Yeah, and I certainly can see how the golf may be gimmicky at spots. You know, they have this they highlight the area around the green, you bring the ball over and you place it. Of course, that's not like true old-fashioned golf, but there's a give and take to all this. And I am looking forward to, and I think everybody has kind of considered it, is the ability to have audio on these guys at all time, kind of hearing them trading blows, talking trash. Not only that, but going through the process, maybe being teammates, all those kind of things we don't really get from golf as you're viewing it now. So they need to lean into those things that make it a special product and lean into them hard and kind of rely on that to draw out the benefit for not only us golf fans, but us casual fans, people who are trying to adapt to the game too, which I think will work. So I don't know. Did you happen to catch any of the hole-in-one challenge they tried to do this week?
No, I haven't really caught too much of it because it's not being shown yet in the UK until it's being shown. I think it's being shown live on Sky in the middle of the night, which would be the 9th. Your side would be the 10th in the morning hours, but it's going to be shown on replay on the 10th on the golf channel on Sky Golf. But I think so. I'm interested. A couple of not concerns, a couple of observations. I don't know how people are going to get behind the teams. Atlanta Drive, Boston Common, Jupiter Links, Los Angeles Golf, New York Golf, and the Bay. So many of those teams, the players aren't at all linked to that geography. Which I know you can't all be linked, but surely you can get 2 or 3. And they've actually got players that are linked geographically to one team, but they're actually in another. That just link all the. We discuss this. I love Liv. I think the end surprised me when I love Liv. One of the things Liv have done well, but not done enough of, is getting teams that have an identity, like the Stingers, the Rippers, Majestic, whatever it might be, Ironheads. Getting that geographical or something. Like we always joked, there could be the Vikings team, which could be some Scandi players, the Højgaard twins, and Victor, and whoever else. That could have been whatever it might be. Lean into that, like the Crushers has an identity because it's Bryson's team, but does Smash have an identity? Do the Four Aces like that needs to be fostered? But it's growing in Live, and you notice people picking teams. I think that the TGL is going to have the same issue, if not more, because they can't go nationality wise, and geographically, what they could have done, they've actually not done. Am I crazy or?
No, and I mean, it definitely is interesting. They haven't embraced any kind of international vibes at all, but maybe that's something they have planned for the future. It is interesting that clearly, like, this is just a North American type product. Maybe you could even just say USA. Like, there's no Canadian representation. There's no Toronto team or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting strategy. I think they wanted to go and find markets where they were and try to draw off them, but at the same time, they're kind of leaving themselves in a box and not able to kind of expand and embrace other things. I think you could make the same argument for Live. Like Live has put some of these teams in countries and they're more regionalized, and I think that's worked. But then there's also ones like Crushers who are kind of embodiment of Bryson and his vibe and create a team that way. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm not sure which one has won out yet. I think we'll kind of learn a little bit more from this because we first time we're seeing a truly regional, truly city based team concept. But yeah, I do think leaning into it at least regionally is going to work better maybe than not doing anything at all. But we'll have to see. So
silly things like the Atlanta Drive now. Kevin Kisner's on the Jupiter Links.
yeah,
Kevin Kisner's from Aiken, South Carolina. Surely a South Carolinian will be better in the Atlanta Drive.
yeah.
Again, I'm not picking. I'm just saying there seem to be some. And Justin Thomas, he's a big Georgia Bulldogs guy, isn't he? Like, if I remember right, is that right? I'm pretty sure he's Georgia Bulldogs.
Alabama.
So is that? Oh yeah, and Kevin
Yeah.
Kisner's Georgia Bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's in that same geography, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be better having the South Carolina or the Georgia, ex-Georgia, born in South Carolina, and the guy who's an Alabama fan, having that regional. I just wonder. I just wonder if it could have been done a little bit different. But look, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Do I think it's going to be a success? I don't know. The one thing that I also think that at the moment they're missing, much in the same way that Brooks and Bryson missed, is they don't appear to be in the same clothes. They've all got their own. They've all got their own deals on, and I get that. But even if you are one of you's Ping, one of you's Srixon, and one of you's TaylorMade, and one of you's Sunday Red, if you're not in the same clothes, make sure the clothes match on those days. Yeah. Black tops, white bottoms, red tops, black bottoms, whatever it might be, make sure you match. I think that it sounds daft, but optics matter.
No, yeah, for sure. I think they'll probably try something like that because that just seems such an easy layup, but maybe they'll totally avoid it and then they'll just be all mismatched, and I don't think that will bode well for I think they definitely are trying to come up with this team concept, like trying to bolster as much as they can. So one thing I'm a little wary of, I kind of knew this going in, but they're only pulling the 3 out of 4 players at a time, and it doesn't seem like the 4th guy is going to be involved at all, which is kind of
Mhm.
wild. Like I thought,
I missed that completely.
yeah, I knew they
You
were.
missed it.
No, I knew they were doing 3. I knew because the way the matches worked when they announced that, I just thought the 4th guy would be there. I don't. It doesn't
Yes,
seem
yes.
like
I
they're
thought that.
involved. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems like they're going to pick 3 people for that day, and those 3 are there. Now, elephant in the room with TGL. Look, this isn't a live PGA Tour bashing session, but if Liv had been paying people to attend an event and advertising to pay people to attend an event, the Liv detract should have been up in arms. I've got no issue with TGL paying people to attend. They're trying to get a product off the ground. They're trying to do various things. I'll have one comment before you come in on that is who on earth is organising it and their first event wasn't Tiger versus Rory? Like, I don't understand. You can ask my daughter who's just turned 6. Who should be for your premier event in the first one? The 2 biggest players in the world or not those 2 players? Like she go, yeah, Dad, the 2 biggest players. I don't. So they're paying people to attend, and they're giving people like I think it's $400. It's $150 to attend and $250 worth of kit. You wouldn't have to pay anyone anything if you had Tiger versus Rory first match up. I would have thought.
Well, and then, but you can also say like I've seen mentions online that like people have bought the Jupiter Lynx tickets and they're not completely sure if they're even going to see Tiger because it could be the night he sits out. So the whole thing is very, they orchestrated in a way that I don't think everybody kind of understands it just yet. And as far as that whole getting people inside the door, it seems like it's very much like they're looking for actors to fill in and kind of hype up the crowd. So, yeah, if Liv was doing that and that was out there, it'd be insane the amount of reactions you'd get from people online. So, Liv provided tickets at discount, and people were like, "Oh, you got to give the tickets away to make sure people are there." It's like, well, now we're literally paying people to go, so it's a little different. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, it's not. I'm just saying, if you're going to attack one person for one thing, you've got to attack them for the other. It's that old politics thing of it's okay as long as it's my team doing it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You've got to call it out. And lastly on that, it's an indictment, not just the organisation. They didn't have Tiger versus Rory, but they've had over a year now to publicise this since the tent blew down. They should have been trying to sell these tickets and sell everything and have everything going from October 2024 during the FedEx Cup and during all of that. Have those things going. Right. FedEx Cup's brought me on to a. Go on, you were going to say something. You go for it before I come
well,
to my FedEx Cup.
I think it is interesting. I think they're caught in a hard place because it's so the normal tour atmosphere is all these corporate people that are not really there to watch golf. They're kind of there to schmooze each other and make
Day
deals.
out.
Yeah, right. So for them, if they went to the whole of just providing that same kind of concept here, I think it would fall on its face of what the atmosphere would be inside. So maybe this is correcting some of that and already seeing not a lot of people willing to pay the ticket price for some of these other events that are not the marquee guys. But yeah, it is. It's very interesting. This is the first for them of like doing like a real entertainment product, and it's gonna be, it's either gonna fly and work well, or it's gonna be showing the things the PGA Tour can't do, especially on their own. If it doesn't work, so
Shall we go in for a new segment, ladies and gentlemen? I texted you earlier saying I'd like to do a new segment called Red's Rant. And Red, as we know, is an agronomist, has been a superintendent, whatever you guys call it over there. You know your courses, you run courses, you run grounds, you know what you're doing. Talk to me about the farce. It's not the player's fault. You can only play on what's put in front of you.
right.
But the scoring at Sentry is just silly, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of problems that we're having and seeing quite often now, honestly, where week to week, if the weather is not cooperating the way they need to, it rained there all last week. I think they said they got near 2 inches somewhat of rain. It's far too soft, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. when it does happen. But one thing you can do is kind of play with the pin positions and really kind of try to tuck them. And even doing that with no wind, they're not receiving much help. And it's just one of these golf courses that just kind of lets these guys have a way with it. So it's hard to really nitpick this golf course because it brings you what it is uh in droves. It has all those unbelievable vistas, the views of the water. It's exactly what they want for people sitting at home in January. So I can't say that like I need to see this go away and that it's just absolutely silly, but it's also just highlights the major problem we're having here when Mother Nature isn't helping. There's only so much anybody on a tour staff can do to kind of pull these guys, rein these guys in. And now, and I'm not going to go off on this tangent because I certainly could, but the ability for the equipment to help them so much, and it's going to lead to these scores no matter what. I mean, you could probably say the only thing I would love to see is more undulation and intricacies put back in those greens. There was rumors that they kind of took some of those out over the last couple of years and they flattened them out because the tour guys like them to play the way they do. I think maybe going back to some of that original design thoughts that were had is probably the thing to do to help these scores kind of come back from earth. But if they're going to leave it the way it is and it's not going to blow and it's going to be soft, it's just what's going to happen.
I'm like, do I want to see US Open every week, where every tournament where it's like +1, -1, -2, maybe -4? No, I don't. But I do like to see more of that than 31 under, 28 under. What was it yesterday?
Yeah.
24 under through 3 days. Right. Well, we are nearing the end of what we said we'd do. I just wanted to. I want to leave something for the viewers to comment on and to give us their thoughts on. And I know you'd care less about this than I do because I'm a bit of an equipment hardo. I think it's very interesting seeing players like Max Homer go across to Cobra. I think that's a big name player to go over to them and to leave where he was. And obviously Grant Horvat to leave TaylorMade on the irons and to become an investor in Takeover irons. Do you have any thoughts on this? Is this what we're going to see more of? More players going to other brands? Are the days of TaylorMade's dominance across maybe 10 or 12 of the biggest 20 names, are
I
they
don't know. It's
changing?
hard to really say how this will really shape out the future. I mean, I think we're seeing all these brands kind of having the benefit of fighting on the same level as some of these bigger brands like TaylorMade and Titleist. They can now bring the same kind of rigorous testing and those kind of things with the new technology. So maybe it is kind of the days we see it filter out a lot more and a lot more people come closer to what the top brands are offering just from using these kind of new technologies and different things. And then there's also players in the market that are just better at differentiating themselves. And you see brands like Travis Matthews and others, Malbon, who are kind of doing their own things on that side too. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that with Max Homa and his choice to go to Lululemon. So it's definitely a different future ahead for golf. And I don't think I see it contracting. I think it continues to see this expansion that we're seeing. So it's interesting.
And if you're Grant Horvat and you go, okay, well, if we're selling irons at £650 a set of irons, and just my presence alone can help sell 10,000 sets of irons, that's not a huge amount, is it, in the grand scheme of golf? And he's getting a 20% cut of that. Then why wouldn't he do it?
Yeah.
If he believes in the gear, if he thinks the gear is not a step back, it's a step sideways, and he can make $2 million a year for 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, as part of that group, then we're going to see more of that. Because one of my friends said to me, a good mate of mine, yesterday, I think it was, he said he's more likely to buy irons because Grant Horvat, because he watches more YouTube golf than he is what irons might be used by Max Homer. We actually used the two as a comparison. I said to him, which is more likely to influence your choice of irons? He said, I'd never even heard of Takeover. I've gone online, looked at them, I really like them. He said, but he said, to answer your question, I've not even looked at Cobra. That's not a slight on Cobra. That's just an exact, because I quite like the Cobra. And that is more of a reflection on the fact that Grant Horvat seems to carry much more sway and influence than Max Homer, because this world has changed.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely shows that too. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there for people to make a name for themselves. It doesn't just have to come with being a professional golfer. Obviously, what Grant and some of the other brands in that space are doing is groundbreaking stuff, and they're kind of blazing their own trail with all these deals. You know, no one had a club deal outside of pros like this until these guys, good, and them came along. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, and then we see some people like the Bob Does Sports guys. You know, they're kind of doing their own brand, and they have Breezy Golf, I think it's called.
Yeah, Breezy
So
Golf, yeah.
yeah, so and that like that could be now they're positioning themselves to be acquired. So you know, there's just all these different new revenue streams and new ways to kind of bring stuff to people, and I think it can only kind of help the game. And I'm excited that we're getting there because I think having Grant be funded, having all these guys be funded, and be able to get this content out is amazing for the game.
Yeah, I'm still amazed, but I'm not. I played golf with Paddy from the Four Brothers the other day. We played him a couple of times. You chat about the way the world's changed and how people consume, and just hearing about some of the views that they get on their channel and how many views that the other YouTubers are getting. I think is it James Robson or Robinson? I don't watch many equipment reviews. I'm not a big. I love equipment. I like reading about it. It's about the only thing I actually read. It's about the only thing in the world I actually read rather than consume online. I like to read equipment, look at their stats. But like James Robinson, I think someone said to me, he averaged like 75,000 views in the first 2 days when he reviews a new club. I'm like, 75,000 people in 2 days go and look at a club review from a guy he's a ex low pro golfer. But he's become really known for his club reviews. Like 75, 80, 90, 100, 200,000 people will go and watch his club review. Like, it's incredible the influence that some of these people can have just in that small niche of buying clubs.
No, it really is, and you know, it kind of drives this creator niche that is become very successful in golf, which is great. Like I said, I think it just benefits the game to have more people out there, kind of bringing more people in, getting you know, all these views, and that's I think it's very interesting with the future it holds for Live too, and this Fox deal and all that. You know, is it really that essential that they're on linear network TV? Probably, you know, for the older consumer, but at the same time, keeping the app available and keeping the new ways to watch on their side, I think is going to be very important for them moving forward too. So,
Yeah, I know we're going to get into that in the next one when hopefully the Fox deal's all clear.
yeah,
I think the linear network's only important for you guys, North America.
yeah,
We are. I don't know anyone that watches Live on the TV. I think because of where we are, we everyone I know watch it on the YouTube and they watch it through the app, and I think that's how they can continue to watch it. I was in a golf club. I can't remember which event it was. Was it Valderrama? I was at the Valderrama. I was in a golf club when it was the Valderrama event, and the golf club had two TVs on, one there and one there, one with Live and one with Sky showing the PGA. So one had YouTube running and showing that, and the other one had Sky Sports Golf, and then they had two TVs over there with the same thing, and like people are just watching it. They don't care whether it comes through YouTube or an app. They just want to watch the golf that's on, and that's what matters to them. It's not where the golf's how it's being distributed. But I do think in America it's different. I do think that you guys are unable to go onto the internet and type in YouTube and use it. I think it has to be on that.
no,
Remote.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Some bars, you go into sports bars in America and you ask them to change the channel, and they're like, "We don't even know how to operate the TVs." Like some guy in the back has to do it. So there's a lot of different things that certainly, and I think that will make a difference if they do have linear TV, like we said, and especially like down to small things like getting the channel changed at your local golf courses so that it's not always just Golf Channel, and maybe they flip it over to Fox. So I think all that could benefit them, but at the same time, like you're saying, I think internationally and just the wave of the future is to go to these different streaming services to get your live events. So it might not be as important as we're even, you know, saying it is.
I don't know what to say on it. It just makes me think. I just think that the world's completely changed on their consumption.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me and not the rest of the world. And as I've just consumed here, I've just seen that Carolina have just beaten Atlanta. So Atlanta now are not going to make it to the playoffs. To lose at home to Carolina 44-38. whether people like American football or not. I do apologise. I do love it. So I was just checking that. Right.
No, I
On
mean, but on the same note though, that my Patriots lost, or we won today,
that,
which lost because we went from the first round draft pick to fourth.
yeah,
So
mate, you can't even tank properly.
yeah, we can't tank right.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. I have been Golf Love UK, and Red Harrington has been Red Harrington. Red, do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this. I always enjoy the chat, and I hope people are kind of enjoying their new year and waiting for all the golf that we have to come this year. I mean, it's going to be a really great year for golf, I think. So, looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Cheers, everybody. You take care. Stay safe, everybody.
Cheers.